into the game. Sancho, how you feeling today, buddy?
I'm ready. I'm ready for the action. I'm ready for the highlights. I'm ready for the pressure. I'm ready for the drama. Let's just hope these teams are ready for the next 6 games. We talked about it all throughout the analyst desk. You said it. It is the last time. But we still got a lot more action here to go. This is the first zone, and it's going to be a West Coast zone. It's going to be so interesting to see who's going to come up on top for Game 1, because that kind of like sets the tone for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and there's so much that we want to keep an eye on today, but you're probably wondering as a viewer, what do you care about? What storylines are going on? Well, first of all, the top 15 will guarantee their spot into a heats. There are a number of teams who haven't been able to get there, but a large amount of those are through on series points. There's 3 who are 100% required to get in via that top 15 category, and one of them is in contention right now. That is Left Eye, Fnayan, and the other trio. I apologize, I forget that right there. I'll go ahead and get that information. But they are currently sitting in 7th. Yes, it's Nappy. That's the other one. Now, we are also care about who is able to place first. There's still some prize money on the line, and we want to see who's able to roll over. And right now, Tayson, Mitro, and Mongrel have looked like they have the best ability to execute those victory royales in the endgame, Sancho.
And they have been definitely executing the victory royales. They have 7 victory royales so far in the run here in all qualifiers. So an unbelievable dominant performance throughout the entire weeks. And we talked about consistency. If you looked it up in the Fortnite dictionary, no doubt you have Mongrel, Mitro, and Tayson. And hey, before we get too far,
sometimes, whoa, sometimes I wouldn't say they're the definition.
No, I'm talking about definition of like getting like the most victory royales. Look, okay, we could say Zayt, Sap, and Stretch are maybe the most consistent, or we could say the boys from the Brazilian side of things, King God, will probably be the definition of consistency. But before I went too far, we just left that trio, and I have to give a shout out to that Ghostbusters pack. Oh my, as being a kid from the 80s, I absolutely love the Ghostbusters, and it's so dope to see it. Props to anyone that kind of got that all together. Just even the sound of that little Ghostbusters alarm, ooh, that gets me going. The siren, big props, man. I'm a big fanboy about that one.
I definitely, I had a little moment last night because I try and, as best as possible, try and not peek into the future and try and stay up to date so I can enjoy the things with everyone else and enjoy it in real time, and kind of seeing that come across my timeline and everyone's excitement definitely got me going. But now we're going to pay attention here. This is my prediction. Floki, Nako's Inclement, somebody who had an incredible week 1, didn't make it back in week 2, but now back here in qualifier number 3, trying to get some decent shots and get some Storm Surge tags, currently sitting in 5th place. In the French trio, we kind of talk about ability to execute and get in on these early fights, but we're actually going to hop away from them, as now we're looking over the trio who has to place in the top 15. Don't have an option to get there on qualification points, which means they want to get off to a good start today. And right now, they're setting up an ambush in the logjam.
This is a very tense moment. As you see, Mappy's trio finished top 10 in 5 games. Child mentioned teams kind of relying on consistency. This team is going to have to rely on that, but they're going to need that pop-off game, man, just to make sure to kind of stamp their way in. And that is where it's going to be tough. And this is where, like, even these engagements right here, Sundown, are so risky, considering that they've made it all the way to placements in the top 15, and that is why they're kind of disengaging right now. They're realizing, we got our tags in, our valuable storm tags. We're going to kind of go ahead and back away. Now, considering the team right here, we're going to jump to another team. That backing away is not in their, I guess, dictionary here, since we're talking about dictionary and thesauruses. Wolfies, CRR, and Kinzel, Sundown. All solo-type players, but they're actually doing really well as a trio.
They've had some mixed results, but I think the benefit from them not placed in the top 15, but having enough series points to qualify them through, is that they're going to get a little bit more time to work on their chemistry together. They have the pieces to put together. You talked about a Kinzel, back-to-back DreamHack champion, somebody who has been around for quite literally ever in the Fortnite scene. Wolfie's the World Cup duo runner-up with his partner Rojo, and then you have CRR, known for being one of the strongest and most mechanically talented players in Europe, and you see the lineup coming up. Wolfie's hitting Nako's, and there's no teammate nearby. We saw that the French squad there has a little bit more of a split route. He's trying to get over and cover his teammate and to get the revive off right away. It looks like they're just going to have to settle for the 275 damage, and actually No, yeah, another team is closing in on them. There's a box fight going on that side, so Wolfies is just going to play the observer and a spoiler as Floki is separated, so it's effectively a 1v3 over on that side, and you can see Wolfies ping out the danger ping over there and saying, hey, we can push that as Clement goes down, so it's all going to be on the back of Floki's, and Wolfies finding another 275 tag, so no worries for them on that Storm Surge. It's brilliantly done from the young Englishman.
Great snipes right there. That danger mark was bringing in the third party that was gliding on into the fray. Monster likes to call this the mosh pit effect. One person hits another, the other one starts going, and before you know it, everyone's bumping and everyone's fighting. And Wolfies has kind of just like ignited that engagement as Blackie, CQ, and Robaz flies on by. You kind of mentioned the teams are looking in. Let me give you some numbers. We have 6 teams sitting in the top 15 have yet to qualify. Will they hold on or will they slip out? We have 8 teams that are sitting on the outside trying to get in these next 6 games. 6 opportunities to get in, 6 opportunities to get a chance for gold, 6 opportunities to prove that you got it. And that is what we're talking about. Can you get in and can you prove you could roll as Bondi, Koroku, and Nana? Those are one of the teams that are on the outside looking in. Hey, some people have a bad performance in day 1. Day 2, they could definitely turn it around. We saw Rotary, Stormy Right, and Kiriachi have that effect and turn it around in day 2. So let's see what these trios who haven't got a good start in day 1, maybe day 2 will be brighter skies ahead.
And anything can happen if you're able to get your footing in just one of these games. If you're able to push yourself into a top 3, there's so many placement points that end up coming through with that. Don't forget our format as you come through. The top 17 trios will begin receiving placement points. That goes up by a singular one as the trio gets eliminated. And the top 3 will get a bonus 2 points. The second place team gets a bonus 4. And then the Victory Royale gets a bonus 5. So there's 11 total points that are given away to that top 3. But enough about the format, as now we see somebody trying to take advantage of that plus 1 point per elimination as they smell some blood in the water. They know Koro Bondic hiding here in the house just on the edge of zone. That's not necessarily someone you want to be. I would have rather seen them rotate a little bit more centrally, as now they're kind of leaving themselves open to this aggression coming from the north. They're going to try and get together, fight hip to hip, get in the box. You see the spray coming through, and that's Chapix. Chapix will end up getting down there. You can see Link also getting squeezed up in the feed. So some good knock coming through there and a good conversion to get Bondig on the board here. And a great edit shot right there. Coming out, finding Milan, gets the 110 on the headshot afterward, and Nana's going to clean that up. And a quick little ambush turns the other way around. Got to be careful about what you're hunting there.
That is a great confidence starter right then and there. It kind of shakes the nerves, gets the butterflies out of the belly, converts that nervous energy into confidence. And that is what you're going to need to do, considering this team coming into this match, 29th place. And that was a battle from the bottom of the board, of the top of the board, right then and there. Milan, Queasy, I mean, those are the kinds of teams that already qualified. They're kind of just picking fights, but it just shows you how stacked this EU region can be. And that is what's going to be so exciting to see the rest of the day, Sundown.
As now you talk about the battle of the top and the battle of the bottom, this is the literal top of the board. My prediction last week, but realistically, they've just been playing much better as a team this week and also had those same standout clutch moments with Deceptos also getting on board, but currently sitting in number 1 place. They had 2 Victory Royales yesterday, also rounding the day out with a little Victory Royale sandwich in there. First place, 13 eliminations, then a little 11th with 4, and then another first and a 7th. So really rocking it up on the back half. They're going to try and keep that momentum going today and make sure that sandwich is nice and toasted, to bring the metaphor all the way around for those longtime viewers.
Absolutely deep cuts here, deli cuts here being sliced and diced. We've been watching Hen slicing and dicing the competition, especially with these long-range snipes. And you're taking a look at the inventory. There's some floppers in there. Floppers have now 35 different species of floppers, all giving different types of benefits. And it'll be exciting to see what team kind of utilize it. We have been seeing the floppers be a big factor, especially in in-game. Even though the 40 HP, you don't get as much time as you used to, but you still could do some work with it.
Yeah, I'm going to say this straight up. If your drop spot is by fishing spots and you don't have somebody on your team, like the second you find a harpoon at least hitting 3 drop spots, you're doing it wrong. Also, not only because the availability of shields that are there and not guaranteed coming through, as we have see Patrick finding some great shots there on the AR spray from the hip, tossing 200 pump back to make sure they get the shakedown for the additional information as well as the mac damage. So now Mick the Beast is going to be under pressure as they're going to continue pushing forward because, you know, they want all that prize money. They want that #1 spot. They want to be going into the heats next week saying, hey, we got all of this, and making sure they do all the little things right, bringing over the legendary Bolt Sniper to make sure they get the headshot. That one elimination puts them 755 damage above the Storm Surge threshold.
Already averaging 6 elims in day 1, 6.5. Their average placement is 8th place. Patrick coming in and closes out Kovac from the backside. Hen is now on the front side here, going to get the last remaining member of this trio. Almost whips it, and they're going to wait for this opportunity for everything to catch up because Hen is moving at a blazing pace. Connected, converted, points awarded for Hen and his trio, and they're not slowing down. We mentioned 4ZR did not make it into this last weekend of qualifiers. 4ZR went back-to-back in weekend 1 and weekend 2. Going into this days, we noticed that now we're going to get a new kind of winner for that lion's share of $67,000. Can it be Patrick Deceptos and Hen? We will have to see how it all goes. It all depends on their chemistry, Sundown. We mentioned that Hen sometimes is a standout, but yesterday we saw Deceptos definitely stepping up and kind of hang around at the end game and be a big factor for the trio.
And it really seems to me that they've kind of taken over the role that we saw Thomas, HD, and Anas playing, right? Particularly the, like, looking actually at the pairs themselves, with Hen and Deceptos. Hen really being a little bit more the Thomas. He's kind of more reliable in that final clutch situation. Oh, and as I say that, not reliable in that situation. Get down, Mr. President. No! Hen catches a bullet to the back of the head. Link making him pay, and the spray will come out right away as Seven Tor and Link try and close the gap. The sideways shockwave coming through, trying to find it. They know how desperate it is to get the conversion. Lush is actually going to help him out there as Deceptos also gets converted on, so it's all going to fall there. So close from Tatters. It's all on Patrick's back. The Navi player trying to hold him back as he's going to be sandwiched on the edge of the zone.
Yeah, and that sandwich is going to be so much pressure. Now all the arrows you're seeing on the mini-map on the bottom right are now turning attention to all the chaos that's happening, all the noise that's happening. And like I said, look at it. Patrick now is down to the sliver of HP, and he's been chosen by the lobby and gets eliminated right then and there. The pressure was too much, and out goes the top trio from day 1. The theme, Sundown, of what's happening, the bottom of the board affecting the top of the board. It just shows, again, how stacked of a talent that we have here today.
And I believe there's a technical term for that. I wish you guys could see my camera right now, but that's a whoop. That's when that leaderboard just kind of shrinks real quick. It's those spots that top 15 shrinks a little bit more. There's nobody who's really running away with it. So now you can look for players who are going to try and push forward towards that top tier. And we're going to hop on board here with one of the most consistent trios in the region. Train H's, Amplify, and Matzo, joined by ADN. They've been landing centrally the entire time. It was the Authority. Now the Ruins here in Fort Nightmares. I mean, they've played so incredibly well from this location. One of 2 trios to make it to every single round 3, joining only Tayson, Mitro, and Mongrel as the other trio to do it out of Europe. And you can see there, Amplify's trio, a limited player from 23 different teams yesterday. So you know what? Honestly, I want to say, like, let's keep track. Can we see if they can get a elimination from the other 10?
And you know, what's also exciting as well, will someone from the bottom of a board take out this top team? If you kind of would ask everybody, if you would do a survey in the EU region and ask who would be a top trio, Amplify, AD, and Matzo would not be in that group. You would probably name the Mongrels or the Benjis, but hey, you got to put some respect on this trio and start adding Amplify and ADN to it. And that is the beauty of performing on the grand stage here on the Fortnite stage, as they get a nice little pick there, getting that nice elim. But we're talking about, I mean, they have 16 games with 3+ eliminations, second only to the back-to-back trio winner of 4ZR. So a very strong, but now Floki is now being lobby focused, and that is just so difficult to deal with, Sundown. You expend so many material and so much HP is being drained from you as you're fighting for your life. And look at this, a cheeky hidden hiding moment right here, hiding in this cone.
I don't know if that's his cone, though, because it had a red edit symbol on it. It does have the med kit underneath him, but this is zone number 4, so I think, yep, I was just about to say, that's a 5-tick zone. There's no possible way. Pop a bandage Zexro, try and pop a med kit Floki, but going to go down instead. We saw them fall early and get caught kind of in the scuffle. Wolfies was the one who kicked that one off with a snipe to the back of Nako's, and then a number of teams climbing in as now we get kind of a nice little wide of the zone. We can gather who's positioned where, who has the primary kind of focus for right now, and who's going to be able to get priority position. As zone 4 closes, we're going to be looking for that half in, half out, Sancho.
Absolutely, and teams in the trio scene try to jockey for that center position as much as possible, center the bullseye to limit the rotation. So that's why you're seeing these little mini skirmishes kind of battle out as players are just trying to get people away from them, because that half in and half out could literally determine the way the rest of your ride can go. It could be a smooth or bumpy ride. So we're about to get that revealed in about 3 seconds here, as Storm Surge is active. Storm Surge kind of penalizes the passive players, so only 6 have to go down. This trio that we're watching here, Rough Guard, Stomping Scram, are 300 buff, so the chill. But the danger is, look at that pull, Sundown, a max pull for that half in and half out. So they're gonna have a long trek to go. But luckily, if you look in the inventory, Refsguard has 4 crash pads, so they can make this journey, but still very difficult. But the only thing I have to say real quickly is there's not a lot of people along there. If they want to beeline it, they could definitely do that as movement begins.
I think they need to go to the left. As scary as it is trying to push in that high ground, there's so many people who are packed into that southern line that I think rotating along there, if you don't have a bouncer, as you can see, like setting up a bouncer plus the shockwave here, but we've seen this so many times. No, they actually executed it well together. Missed a little bit of a crash pad, so we'll get separated for a second, but well done from them getting out with the shockwave and getting over towards the zone. As you see all the utility come out, we'll wait for the server to catch up here. As we see, players are beginning to drop. Storm Surge is on, but will turn off here in a second, as only 2 more players need to drop. It will deactivate when 50 are left, and Refsguard now going to open up his edits and look to return some shots.
We're about to get into the chaos of the end game. Zone 6, 7, 8, 9 are full rotation. 9 is the one that completely closes up. Refsguard closes out that elim, gets a nice 1 point right there, and we joined in, they had 0 points. They got 3 points right then and there. In the blink of an eye, you could just start racking up points long as you stay on your feet. Now we're going to take a look at a team that could do very well and possibly get the Victory Royale, and that is the Cooler ZQ, Blackie, and Robot sitting at height. Trios, and it's different from duos and solos. You don't want to go for height this early, but in a trio, you have enough mats, you have enough kind of coverage to hold on to it as much as possible. But the issue is, it's really hard to hold on to it when you have max pulls like this zone. So expect this trio to kind of vault their way over to make sure they claim height again. It's going to be an interesting thing how it all rolls out, but right now, they're not yet in a real strong position to get the. So expect this trio to kind of vault their way over to make sure they claim height again. It's going to be an interesting thing how it all rolls out, but right now, they're not yet in a real strong position to get the Victory Royale. Yeah, there it is. They're about to shotgun over and then crank for height. Really strong performance right there so far for ZQ, Robots, and Blackie.
And a good job from ZQ, putting a little pump shot down there on the only players who'd be able to contest. Now they're going to belt face and begin to rifle fire. Notice how in the bottom right-hand corner, everyone else has to go past them. They need to connect on these shots, though, to guarantee they still have the high ground. As somebody comes straight into his box, and it's Mongrel, and ZQ turns it around. He finds the huge 170 into the 200 on the ground, and Mongrel tries to clip it again. He tries to put him on the highlight reel like he did for Nikov, but instead, Mutombo comes out, says, no, 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 slaps him down. ZQ holds the high ground because of that shot, and they're going to be able to run it out with a much-needed turn of events here. Blackie and Robabs putting down some shots as everyone else continues to tarp forward.
What a big-time swat and a big-time rejection by CQ to be able to stay away of Mitro, Tayson, and Mongrel. And that's the kind of thing that you need to do. You can have all the materials in the world. You can have all the mobility in the world. But when push comes to shove, you're going to be able to have to hit your shots kid. And ZQ definitely hit his shots right there. And now it's all about keeping the pressure down, shoving everybody down to the bottom, where we all know where the chaos really rings true. ZQ catching Left Eye out in the storm, picks up a big time knock right there. There is the elimination, the confirmation, 1 point rewarded. And we are already in the top 17. We're in 12 points. So every elim will kind of be bonus with a placement point after a full trio has been wiped.
Yeah, and we just saw the full trio wiped of Left Eye, Fnayan, and Mappy. That's one of the trios who has to place in the top 15, so they're going out in 13th here. ADN gets cleared out on the low ground. We're going to hop back on over to Mr. Rejection himself as he serves up another one there. Huge shot onto Rajasher. The Ovation player gets taken down, and it's ZQ on the high ground, still 36 mats, and you can see him trying to use as many of those soft mats to just get connections because he knows straight tarping out isn't going to be an option for much longer. But we're into our top 10 trios. 9 trios left, just over 20 players remaining as ZQ continues to rain fire down, but he needs to be aware of his medium bullets. Does have the shockwave as well for a little bit of playmaking opportunity. Gonna continue to tarp out as he goes to work.
Yeah, that inventory and having only one duo partner with them in Blackie to put everyone down. And there it is. The mid ground goes for Height immediately. And just like that, Height could be taken away from you considering that they not had everything going the way. But he goes down. He's like, I'm not done swatting people left and right. Gets Kinsel. And a big time, another second elimination. ZQ Cooler is rocking it right now.
And he also has the 2 floppers. He's going to pop one. He has the bandages if the zone cuts back, but it'll only save him a second. Trust me, I know this. Now you can see we'll get a tarp over on the side. We've talked about EU, and it's how it's the effort of the Lone Rangers and ZQ. He took out Mongrel. He took out Wolfies. He took out Kinzo. Who can't he take out on his way to a top 5 performance? That's another huge one, pushing him in top 4 now, and these are full eliminations as well. 9 elims on the back of the Cooler player. ZQ continuing to tarp forward as we cut out now. Vato up on the high ground, continuing to work down. Can he find a little bit more space? The sideways shockwave coming through from the user player. Not able to find it necessarily, but the question is, will the run end? And there it goes. ZQ finally goes down, but he gets the 3rd place out as the match will then come to a close. Well done from Vato, Leo, and Airwalks to secure the victory royale. But man, the show was stolen.
Ah, man, words being stolen from our mouths. What an